What's up, y'all? This your boy Eddie Jackson. This is the Drop That Podcast. This is hip hop talk, but it's brought to you by Laidback TV. Over 10,000 channels, movies on demand, every sports channel, all the languages. Make sure y'all download it in your app stores and your play stores. Now, let's not waste any time. All right. A lot of music has scheduled to be released. A lot of music has been released. A lot of announcements have been made. And there's a result. So that's all for hip-hop. Maybe you could say this is R&B, but it's definitely hip-hop. But let's get it out the way. The Versus battle went down. The Versus. Yes, it was legendary. We had Joe versus Donell Jones, and I rated it. I rated it based off delivery, performance, how original, surprises, like it's everything. It's all the criterias. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of Versus. I've been a big fan of it all the way back to 2020 when it was on IG Live and shit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one day we'll do a Versus episode where we go on what our top Versus of all time were. You know, I definitely have my favorites where it was like, holy shit, this was close. I mean, if I had to think off the dome, what were my favorite Versus battles? Not in no order, so don't quote me on that. But off the dome, I would definitely have to say one would be DMX versus Snoop Dogg. Rest in peace, DMX, the dog. That was dope. I would say Dipset versus the Locks. You know what I'm saying? Shout out D Block. What's another one? Nelly versus Ludacris was dope. Ja Rule versus Fat Joe was dope. T-Pain versus Little John was a favorite of mine. Maybe not the rematch, but definitely the first Timbaland versus Swiss Beats. I think that was fire. That's the most I got off the dome that I could think of. You know, because I like the ones that got the fucking catalog that means something. You know what I'm saying? Like a whole 10 plus years. You know what I'm saying? But we had Joe versus Donell Jones, and I rated it. I judged it. They did 16 rounds officially. 16 rounds. I ain't gonna lie, there were certain moments where Donell Jones dropped the ball, but he was out of his element, to be honest. You know, Joe killed it. I gave it to Joe 14-2. Okay? Some people may look at that like, God damn, that was a fucking slaughter. Not really, because, you know, there are certain records where I gave it to Donell Jones where, in the end of the day, like, you can't compete with these records. Now, some people would, like, give it the round to Donell Jones, maybe. Ooh, say what? He didn't even come off the top. He didn't even come off the gate with that one. He saved it for last. Now, I was shocked that he did that one last. But I'm sorry, Donell. You're not beating I wanna know what turns you on. Sorry, that's Joe all fucking day. That's lightning in a bottle that aged gracefully. So shout out to Joe. He won that round on Undisputed. But the rounds that I gave to Donell Jones, one was obviously where I want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that Joe got that could have competed with that in as far as that genre goes. You know, if I want to know was going at where I want to be, I would have gave it to where I want to be easily. But I gave it where I want to be. I forgot what round that was. And I predicted that, well, I think it was a safe bet to predict that two singers like Donell Jones and Joe, who have big pun records. They're not just big pun records, they were singles. Joe was on the debut album of Big Pun, Capital Punishment, and his first single, Still Not a Player. Big Pun passed away before his second album came out, which was Yeah Baby. And the first single was It's So Hard. featuring Donell Jones. And I'm sorry, that round, I gave Donell Jones that round. I don't know what round that was, but whatever competed with It's So Hard, I gave it to Donell Jones. You can't, it's undefeated. Everybody was even in that video. Puff was in that video. J-Lo was in that video. Fat Joe, the Terror Squad, Cuban Link, everybody was in it, you know, to celebrate Big Pun. So, yeah, I gave that one to Donell Jones. So those are the only 2 rounds I gave him. Joe, like, he just had records. Gave you fucking, you know, yeah, he gave you I Wanna Know. He gave you Stutter. He didn't just give you Stutter. He gave you the Stutter remix. Imagine if Mystical wasn't a dumb fuck and wasn't in jail for stupid shit. He would be on stage on the Verses performing with Joe. Stutter remix. Because he's on that remix. But Joe was a very, yeah, like, imagination did play a part. And Joe brought out not only 50 Cent, but G Unit. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking Tony Yayo. I'm talking Uncle Murder. He's part of G Unit now, but he brought out 50. Do you know how many Joe G Unit records there are? You know what I'm saying? You got what is it? I Wanna Get to Know Ya. That's on the G Unit album. Damn, that was a record that had Young Buck and Lloyd Banks. I forgot what the fuck it was called. Please excuse me. I wanna ride with you, ride with. I think that's what it's called, Wanna Ride or some shit like that. But that's 2. That's 2, right? Now, in my mind, while I was watching it, I thought we were gonna get another Joe G Unit record because Joe is on Tony Yayo's debut album, Thoughts of a Predicate Felon. Okay, he's on a joint called Curious, and it was a video. I'm curious, gonna make your mind. You know, that they didn't get to do it. I was like, what? How? They would have been shocked that he had so many G Unit records. He's like he's an affiliate of G Unit. He's like a not unofficial member of G Unit. He should have been, but we didn't get that record. But we did get the Power credit, the Power TV show song. What was it called? It's a big rich town. Yeah. I'm coming from the coldest part. What? How do you fucking do that record? That was a record that I didn't even see coming, bro. So shout out to Joe. It was fucking dope. And I believe it when I see it. This is the closest thing we're going to get to a fucking 50 Cent versus. We're not getting 50 in any verses. I watched Ebro and Nadeska over at Apple Music. You know, the little, you could call it a post interview if you want. You know, 50's there, Uncle Murder's there, Yayo's there, Joe's there, Donell's there. You know, Tyrese even popped up out of nowhere. Yeah, they asked him, are we going to get the verses? No, this is the closest thing you're going to get. It's the closest thing you're going to get because I got so many records with Joe. And after hearing 50's take on it, people like fucking, like T.I., I got the catalog, the discography to compete with 50. Yeah, if you combine all your fucking 7, 8, 9, 10 albums, you're competing with 2. Maybe 3 if you get a few records off of Curtis, the 3rd album. Or maybe a couple records off of Before I Self-Destruct. But your whole catalog compared to the first 2 albums of 50 Cent, no. So I kind of get it. And they said, if you want me there, get M. See if you can get Eminem. If they can get Eminem, which I doubt, there is nothing and nobody, I don't think. Now, if we're doing a celebration with 50 and Eminem, that is the closest thing you're going to get. Because how many records 50 got with Eminem? How many? You know what I'm saying? If you go to the Eminem's albums, you can do fucking Spend Some Time With Me from Encore. You can get motherfucking Crack a Bottle from the Relapse album. What else? From 50's album, you can do Patiently Waiting. Don't Push Me. you can motherfucking get the second album. You can get Gatman and Robin. Third album, you can get Peep Show. Fourth album, you can get Psycho. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, there was a record called Encore on the Encore album. It was the outro joint. There's a lot of records where you could do like 10 rounds of solo records, classic solo records from 50 and M. You'll get the Lose Yourself. You'll get the motherfucking Without Me, the Cleaning Out My Closet, the motherfucking The Way I Am, the Real Slim Shady, Hi, My Name Is. With 50, you can get the motherfucking In the Club. You can get the, I don't know if you can do 21 Questions, maybe. You can get the Many Man. You can get the motherfucking PIMP. You can get the fucking Candy Shop, the Just Little Bits, the Baby by Me. You can get the motherfucking AO Technology, the Get Money. You can get all the records. How about 10 rounds with just back-to-back solo M and 50 records with collabs, if you want. And then 10 records where they're together. Oh, you don't, you know your thing about me. You know your thing about me on the Shady album. There are so many fucking 50 and M records that you could do 10 collabs and 10 solos. I think that's the closest thing. I think you should think about that. Apple Music, Ebro, Swiss, Timbaland, whoever could be watching this, pass it on to them. I think that's what you could do. What else have we got? Northwest gets a magazine cover. Okay, shout out to Northwest, daughter of the legendary King Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. She's growing with a motherfucking great solo career. She says next year she wants to work at Starbucks. I'm sorry, I'm not getting a strawberry acai lemonade and ordering that from Northwest. I'm sorry. Shout out North. I guess she's finally getting to that point where she want to be normal in a normal life or whatever. Moving on. Shout out to Busta Rhymes and the late great J Dilla. Diligence is out on streaming platforms. Shout out to them. They did the Diligence mixtape back in 2007, and now the sequel is a full album. Look like it's like over 20 tracks. J Dilla, apparently he left like 300 beats to Busta Rhymes before he passed. So shout out to Busta for keeping J Dilla's legacy alive. I think my favorite record is Kingpin, featuring Anderson .Paak and Ludacris. I like that beat. Shout out to Busta, Anderson, and Luda. And rest in peace to J Dilla. Dope album. Let me see. Fat Joe is coming out with an album this Friday called Organized Rhyme, and it's entirely produced by Cool and Dre. I ain't gonna say much about that. I want to hear it first. I think I haven't heard a Fat Joe album from front to back that I particularly liked in 20 years. And that would be the All or Nothing album. It had So Much More. It had the My Fofo. It had Get It Poppin' with Nelly. It had So Hot with R. Kelly. What was another one? It had the Lean Back remix featuring Mace, Eminem, and Remy Ma. Production by Cool and Dre. Production by Scott Storch. Production by Little John. I thought that was my my favorite album from Fat Joe. So let's see what I haven't been so like, oh my god, of Cool and Dre's production in years. Hopefully they saved a lot of beats for Fat Joe. Shout out to Black Sam keeping his brother Nipsey Hussle's legacy alive. It turns out Marathon Burger is going to Vegas it's going to be 24 hours and a drive-through. Well, hopefully we don't get a fucking shootout with that one. You know what I'm saying? Vegas got some really good competition for them. You got In-N-Out, you got White Castle. You got a lot of competition out there. So let's see what Marathon Burger. And it's not about when it first opens, because obviously the hype is going to be talked about. But let's see longevity-wise, because White Castle running shit. I think they're In-N-Out's biggest competition. And last but not least, The Game has returned Finally, it's been years. I've been waiting for it ever since Drillmatic, but it's the legacy continues. The Documentary 3, the new album, the Documentary 3, completing the trilogy. Documentary 1 is always going to be my favorite album by him. If I had a number 2, it would be the Red Album, and number 3, I think it's a fucking tie. No, it's not a tie. I think Documentary 1 is my favorite. Red Album is number 2, and number 3 would be Documentary Part 2. Dope album. I'm still listening to it as we speak. Bars like a no fucking other. Favorite record, I would definitely have I would definitely say favorite record on this album is going to be LA Monster. Second would be Jesus, the intro. And third would probably be No Breaks featuring Drake. And they say there's a verse that possibly Drake took off because it was probably too disrespectful and it would probably cause a lot of chaos. Let's just call it what it is. Drake don't want no more fucking smoke from Kendrick Lamar. Why? What battle did we ever have in history? And I've fucking seen a lot of battles. We could go fucking Eminem Benzino, 50 Cent versus Ja Rule, Jay-Z versus Nas, let me see, what's the other one? LL Cool J and Cannabis, Drake Pusha T, Drake Meek Mill, Pac and Big ain't a real one. I don't know. Apparently there was a verse that Big recorded before he died that was going at Pac, and he was going to put it on Busta's album. And, I mean, hearing the bars that Busta rapped, that Biggie spit, apparently it's on the Born Again album. If we're being honest, that's your response to hit him up? Whatever. Rest in peace, Biggie. Yeah, I don't know any fucking battle in years that we got a rematch. Why the fuck do we get a rematch? How do you get a rematch if you got beat? It is what it is. Drake can't take a fucking loss. He lost a battle. He didn't lose his career. Let's call it what it is. He dropped fucking Iceman, Maid of Honor, and Habibi. Iceman, a dope fucking album. I put it in the top 5 of Drake's top 5 discographies. You know, I put it up there with Take Care, what was it, Views, Scorpion, what was another one? Thank Me Later. I put it in there too. You know what I'm saying? If I had to pick, I would definitely put this number, out of all his discography, I think Take Care is number 2. I would put Views. No, Take Care number 1. Views would be number 2. And I would put probably Iceman number 3 out of his discography. But you ain't getting no fucking rematch. And Kendrick ain't paying attention to you 2 years later. The fuck out of here. Kendrick's probably knocking out fucking business deals, and he don't need to give us another fucking album. If he does, next year maybe, if we're thinking about it now, he dropped 2017 Damn, and he executive produced with records on the Black Panther soundtrack in 2018. That was it. That's what he gave us before the pandemic. When the pandemic was finally over, 2022, he gave us Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, a double album. Didn't even appreciate a double album. And then 2 years later, he didn't just give you singles battling this nigga Drake. He gave you an album in the end of the year. He gave you a Super Bowl performance. And he gave you a fucking stadium tour with SZA. This nigga still deserves a break. All of that was last year. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Let him knock some shit out. He ain't in no rush to motherfucking get any records finished. Leave it alone. You know? And they said, oh, he probably threw some shots at Kendrick. Boogeyman, I ain't got a problem with the Boogeyman. Boogeyman ain't got a problem with me. Because I'm the LA Monster. That doesn't sound like a diss. That sounds like a clarification due to your narratives. There is no fucking diss. Why do we need a Game versus Kendrick battle or beef? It ain't a beef. In my world, beef means you die. Battle. We don't need a fucking battle between Kendrick and Game. It's pointless. But if we're being honest, when it come down to Game, did he really start, or did he escalate this situation doing a 100 video? You know what I'm saying? Bringing Drake to Compton? Maybe. But that's his friend. Okay? That's his friend. Cool. It's not about you chose anybody. If Kendrick was your best fucking friend, then I get it. Apparently he wasn't. And it ain't gonna escalate, not, when you got Top Dog talking for Kendrick and you got Whack 100 talking for Game. They're gonna make sure, no, the coast ain't gonna divide like that. You go over there, you do you, and you go over there and you do you. I don't see a problem with that. Does Game need to get Kendrick on the phone? No. Who the fuck gets Kendrick on the phone? That's like saying Drake's gonna get Kendrick on the phone. Would it be fucking great for hip hop if them niggas were to bury the hatchet, do a record together? Maybe. But we don't need another Poetic Justice. I mean, that's not even one of my favorite records from them. Or on Kendrick's album, Good Kid, Mad City, I guess Poetic Justice was good, but wasn't one of my favorites. On that album, I would say fucking Backseat Freestyle, number 1. I would say The Recipe, number 2. I would say Swimming Pools, number 3. I would say Compton, number 4. I would say Black Boy Fly, number 5. And I would probably say number 6 will be Real. But it ain't Poetic Justice. I'm sorry. Just saying. But whatever. I thought the Game album was dope. I wasn't feeling the hate it or love it. You know what I'm saying? Or love it or hate it. You know what I'm saying? The flip on Hate It or Love It with 50 Cent. It's the same beat. You know what I'm saying? It felt like a remix, really, to me. But whatever. It's Game's record. He has the right to it. Cool and Dre's on the beat still. So, it is what it is. So, shout out to Game. Congratulations on the documentary 3. I love it. It's a dope hip-hop album. The West is still alive. But yeah, that's all we got. I'm your boy Eddie Jackson, so drop that podcast. Make sure y'all hit that sub button, hit them likes, and comment. Let me know what y'all think of the Game's documentary 3 album. Do you think any of the records were a diss to Kendrick? Did you think Joe annihilated Donell Jones on the verses? What you think of the Busta Rhymes and J Dilla Diligence 2 album? Are you ready for Fat Joe's Organized Rhyme? And are you going to be in Vegas to try Marathon Burger? Y'all be easy. All right, I'm Eddie Jackson, so drop that podcast. Peace.